back at it for another one. Just got back from a week-long trip to Cebu. I'm in Angeles. This property is near Angeles City in Magalang. And we took a trip to Cebu. And I was impressed. We spent a couple days in Cebu City and a couple days in Bantayan Island. And the trip to Bantayan Island is pretty miserable. If you get a bus, it's miserable. If you get a private car, it's miserable. There's just one road to get there, and it is beat up and full of chaos. This is the local road, typical local road in the Philippines. Everybody lives on the road. And it's stop and go, and stop and go, and go and stop, and get up to 60 kilometers per hour, and then stop, and doesn't matter what you're riding in, it sucks. At least with a car, you're not sitting on plastic-covered chairs and sweating to death. But a car is no more efficient. It'll just take you directly to your destination instead of the bus station. But it took us 3.5 hours by car, and that guy was driving like Mario Andretti. I mean, there's no need for that, but he drives that thing a couple times a week at least, so he knows it like the back of his hand, and it was pretty nerve-wracking. But I gotta tell you that in my situation, a lot of you guys might be getting with your Filipinas and then living where they want to live. My situation, my wife is from Manila, and she never once mentioned trying to live in Manila, because nobody wants to live in Manila. Oh, something wrong with my chicken back there. And so I didn't feel that pressure to like go to her village or go to wherever. She's flexible. She doesn't care where we live, so that's nice. So we chose here because the airport's here, and this area is pretty Westerner friendly for reasons I've mentioned before. But I gotta tell you, going in through Cebu and in and around, it's a beautiful area. It's beautiful up there. Mountainous. The people are real nice. In Cebu City, we went through the mall. Ayala Mall there in Cebu City is pretty big, and I was surprised. I saw a lot of foreigners there. A lot more foreigners than I normally see on a Manila trip. And I wasn't getting any real looks. You know, it seems like I get attention wherever I go, and that doesn't really happen in Cebu, and that's nice actually. You know, I don't need attention. And my wife said she got treated better in Cebu. She doesn't get treated too well in Manila or Pampanga, where we live. I get treated good, but she doesn't. So, kind of interesting. And one major thing that I noticed was that it was still just as much struggle as is here, where people living in shacks and struggling to make it. There's a lot less trash. A lot less trash. Just on the side of the road, in an empty lot, and in anywhere. I didn't see trash. I saw rice sacks that probably had trash in it sitting by the road ready to get picked up. But I didn't see just trash laying on the ground much. There was some, but nothing like what you see here. Just constant trash. So I'm kind of thinking I might have screwed up. I might be in the wrong place. I had the flexibility to go anywhere, and I didn't go far enough. So, and that Cebu airport is legit. Really legit. And flies a lot of places. And it's less hectic and chaotic than Manila airport by far. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of rural areas out there. There's a lot of farming areas that maybe we could have gotten tied up in instead of this one. I don't know. It's got me thinking. Got me thinking maybe we're in the wrong spot. If we had the flexibility to go anywhere, maybe we shouldn't have stayed here. So keep that in mind, man. I don't know. I've told you before. I probably made all the mistakes uh, in retiring in the Philippines so far, and that might be another one to add to the list. Maybe I didn't get far enough away. Maybe I didn't scope out enough islands. Because I'm sure they have excellent medical care in Cebu City. I'm sure, I haven't looked, but I'm sure they've got some big box stores or something like S&R to make me feel more at home. And maybe if I was 2 hours outside of Cebu City, maybe that would work. I don't know. Kind of got me wondering. The pollution was much less. The noise was still there. The fart cans were still there, and the bikes. That was still kind of bad, but maybe not as bad as Manila. The jeepneys were a little bit different. They weren't all the big ones. There were some smaller ones, and they weren't belching out the black smoke nor the ridiculous noise. So I don't know, man. It got me wondering. Oh, and when I was coming in the arrivals of Clark Airport, I saw a demo of what the train's going to look like, the train from Manila to Clark and beyond. So they had a little write-up on it, and so I read the write-up, and it said estimated completion date 2045. Now I know what you're thinking. They're usually not meeting any deadlines in the Philippines, but I think that's a pretty generous date, and if they can't meet that, it may never get done. So there's your update on that train. I was thinking it may be 10 years to get it done, but apparently it's going to be 100 years before it gets done. Maybe they'll open sections of it before then. Maybe they're speaking of the end of the completion. I don't know, but that's pretty disheartening. Anyways, there's your update for that. I liked Bantayan Island. I could set up shop there easy, but there's just no resources there as far as a foreign guy goes. That's a good spot to get an Airbnb for a month and then hang out there and get a little taste and then get back into real life. I don't think you want to put up roots there. You get really bored really fast once you've seen the beach. But it's a beautiful place. Really beautiful. And you could just have a bicycle and you'd be fine. Everything is so slow paced there. All you need is a bicycle. So that's it for me, man. I'm having an internal battle on what I want to do. The cheapest thing for me to do is nothing. But if I sell this thing for double what I bought it for, all right. Then maybe there's something. But the uprooting and all that, and that would be chaos. Finding the kid another school and all that kind of stuff, that'd be chaos. But it can be done. Moving in the Philippines is super easy. You bring some kuyas over and get a couple bottles and make sure you pay them and then give them a couple bottles as a tip. You're set, man. They'll move your crap, no problem. They'll move your air cons, they'll move everything. You don't have to touch anything, and you're not out maybe a couple $100. Super easy. All right, y'all. Have a good one. See you around like a donut. Like, comment, subscribe.